wheels on it, and you however you want, and it has to weigh. There's a weight?
You just don't want to add a lot of extra weight. I'm really not that critical. I'm not going to bring the scales out, or have a tech guy. But if it's got a 5-pound lead weight underneath the back of it, we're probably going to ask them to take it off.
Right. And there's been some pretty awesome creations we've seen. But
oh, absolutely.
So you put an axle through it and
a couple axles,
and just go down the hill.
It's just like a soapbox derby on a miniature scale.
So you ever been to a Cub Scout deal or anything and watched the little Pinewood Derby races?
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing as that with a valve cover.
Okay.
They used to do them at the car
visual
shows.
Now.
When I was growing up, we'd go to I'd go with my brother at all the car shows. They always have valve cover racing. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a big deal in the 50s, I guess, and they'd have 100 people show up with valve covers. But I tried to get it re-going and kind of energize it a little bit. It's a lot of fun for the kids. We had a couple parents get pretty involved, and I said, "Well, no, this is more for the kids than the parents."
Yeah, it got a little heavy.
It's just a race.
It's just for fun.
Hang on.
It's just for fun.
You say it's a racing and it's just for fun. No. We're talking to race car drivers here, guys. Come on now.
He does have a point.
We're talking
we should
about
know
the kids
better.
Too.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Serious. Now, I know that you were working on another feature for the Mild to Wild. Is that something that's going to happen? I'm talking about as far as the...
Actually got that procured. We had that finished up this morning. I had a phone call with a gentleman, and we are going to have the sprint car race simulators there. They're going to be there all day, and we are going to give $100 to the fastest time of anybody all day.
And this is cool.
I'm there.
Is he bringing 4 of them?
He's bringing, as far as I know, he's bringing 4. He's having trouble with one of them, but I think he's going to bring all 4 of them.
Because I know a couple years ago he brought 4 of them. This was cool because it's kind of, it's January and it's cold and people are wanting to go racing. And we had Jesse Williamson and, 3 or 4, pretty elite drivers.
I think Joey Tanner spent $50 trying to get that $100.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We had all these guys racing each other, and it was like a dash where we had Williamson and Tanner, and I think that, there was Weinbarger, I think, was in on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys there.
Racing each other. So I decided to have a little bit of fun. I turned the mic on, stood back there, and announced this deal like a real race. Right. It was kind of funny because the swap meet all kind of converged in that little corner back there, and it was a fun time. It's a neat deal, and it's not real expensive to do that.
I'm not sure what he charges. I think it's like $5 a shot or something like that. And he keeps track all the times. It's all electronic, and we'll be giving that $100 away pretty close to 3:00 or about 2:30 in there on Saturday. But
I can afford a car like that.
Yeah,
let's go racing.
There you go, right?
Yeah. It's a fun deal. So
I didn't see him refuel them once, so that's good.
And there wasn't one tire that was blown.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Now, last year, really, I think was the most I've seen as far as somebody could find anything they were looking for last year.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
There really was. There was some great deals. Whether it was on, Darren Koffel had a smoking deal on a nice, I think it was a 406.
Yeah.
And I think he actually sold it there at the show. Someone got a really good engine. And, it's just one of those deals where you never know what you're going to find. But you can find some really good stuff at this show. And it's not just the race car side. There was what year was that yellow truck? It was like a 52 Ford or something. It was just a really neat old truck last year. We saw some stuff for, razors and motorcycles and everything you can imagine.
Well, is that where Kevin Robertson bought that rat rod he had? I think he looked at that at the show and bought it like a couple days later or something.
Is that where he bought that?
I think so. I can't. I think that's where he saw it. But
that's a neat creation.
Yeah, we've had guys sold a couple sand rails there. There's been speedboats there. There's been all kinds of stuff.
That's
and right. I just never know what's going to show up. That's kind of the fun part.
Right. So now I know that there are some vendor spots left, and right now as things are really getting into high gear for you, the closer we get, the more calls you're getting. How many spots do you have available right now?
There's quite a few because everybody procrastinates. The last week and a half, I'm going to be on the phone when I'm supposed to be working, but I'm going to be on the phone trying to get people's spots figured out. It's like this every year, and I always think about. Is it going to work or not? But it always seems to fill up, and it's always good. So, yeah, there's spots available. Car spots are there's quite a few car spots. They're $45 a piece if you want to bring your car in. I know of quite a few cars that are coming.
Are those 10 by 10 or 10?
They're 10 by 20. A car spot is 10 by 20, and you have to have $45. You have to have a car in it. You can put a few parts around it, but then the part spots are 10 by 10. and they're $30 a piece.
See, you can't beat that deal. That's affordable.
No,
that
guys like Drager Performance will be there. Left Coast Motorsports, they always get a big spot up front. They have forever. A friend of mine, Rick, sells tools. He gets about 8 spots. He's got tools right up by the concession stand every year. It's just Glenn Hackney gets a big spot. Weinbargers get a big spot.
I was going to say they had a big spot last year.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The fun guy of the show sometimes Mike Shank. He's got there, and you never know what he's going to have. But he's always a card. He's always making a deal on something.
You never know what that Wily Old Outlaw's going to pull out of his pocket.
Oh man, Papa Shank. He's got more tricks up his sleeve than anybody I know.
He's slippery. Yeah. I like him though. He's
those kind of people make it fun. So
he's a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
That whole show is kind of like. It's almost like the unofficial start of race season for a lot of us.
Yeah, I think it is. It kind of works out that way. Yeah,
we get there to the show and everybody starts hanging out and talking race and remember this, remember that, and and then the deals start happening and there's some guys that did well at that show last year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know my trailer's usually fuller on the way home than it is when I go over. So.
Go figure.
Yeah,
is that because you're taking payment and parts for some of the spots?
No, not actually. It's I buy parts for my car and it works out that way pretty good. But yeah, it's coming along real well. There's been a lot of interest in it so far, and like I say, there always is. I stress a little bit, and I really shouldn't because it always works out just fine.
Yeah.
But just remember, tell your neighbor, tell everybody. If you're on Facebook, put it on Facebook. If you're on Craigslist and you got something for sale, put it on Craigslist and say, hey, well, you come down and see it at the swap meet.
That's right. Yep.
That's the best advertising, and it doesn't really just help me. Everybody's thinking, well, you need to advertise. Well, I'm not the only person who's got parts for sale. Everybody needs to help out, and the more people come, the more things you're going to sell.
And I think that's one thing that I've taken away from that swap meet the last couple of years is it really has grown to be, the racing family. We're all there. We're hanging out, and you still see guys that at the last minute, I saw guys showing up at the door saying, hey, is there a spot left? So he was like, yeah, I got one over here. Here's the money, and they're setting up and they're selling parts.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it's nonstop. It's coming up to the time where we're walking in to sell parts. He's still taking money and selling spots that are available. So
looks like you got some go-kart parts in here. We could probably
sell
he needs
some go-kart parts.
He needs some go-kart.
I've got all
spindles
the parts
for a Track Magic.
Yeah,
plug.
That's a hard deal to find those things.
Just for example, anybody's looking for a micro sprint, I'm going to have one of those over there. Real nice car. It's all.
What chassis is it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's Jimmy Schramm's car.
Okay,
and. Thornhill's the one to put it together for him. It's a great car. It's got just a few laps on it. The car's complete. And
if Thornhill had his hands on it, you can guarantee
it's a good
top
car.
Quality stuff.
Absolutely. I'll have a golf cart there for sale if you need a golf cart for the track, electric golf cart. There's going to be, you never know what's going to show up.
That's the thing. You can find anything and everything there. And I know that we kind of talked about that last year. And Joel was kind of like, wow, we talked a lot about, everything. I just couldn't believe I noticed a lot more collectibles last year.
Right, right.
I spent myself a long time over at the table with all the old hot rod magazines, the old Circle Track and Stock Car magazines, digging through them, and for $2 a magazine or whatever they are.
And those guys come back every year, and they're the first ones to send their money in, and the first ones to say, I want the exact same spot.
Yeah, well, they've got a great spot where they're at over there. But it's cool, because I actually bought some of those old magazines where I remember those magazines as a kid growing up.
Right.
I've saved. I've got. I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of old stock car magazines, and there was one that I had as a kid that I don't know what happened to it. It was lost in a move, or I think maybe my Uncle Mike got his hands on it or something. I don't know, but it had Charlie Jarzonbek's modified in it, the old white and black number 5, and he actually died in that car. And I looked for that magazine for years and couldn't find it. Found it at that swap meet there last year and actually bought it for I think it was like $3 or $4, whatever it was, and so I put it back in the old collection. And, I never thought I'd find that there, but just by chance digging through, it was like, whoa, I had that when I was a kid, and I just. Right. I had to have it again, so I bought it. But it was cool. Yeah.
Well, also like Finish Line Graphics out of the Portland area, they'll be there taking orders and stuff and selling different things. It's just a time to get started. It's time to get going. We know what the rules are. Bring your stuff over. Sell what you don't need. Buy what you need. Let's get the ball rolling. This racing season's coming up, man.
Right, and then once that show is over, we're going to load everything up. We're going to take it home. Then we're going to bring it back to the Heritage Mall March 24th.
There you go.
25th and 26th, and we're going to put you're going to have a car here at the show?
I'm hoping to have 2.
Well, we're going to welcome. We've got 32 spots to fill. So
I just picked up another car the other day. So We're gonna go. We're gonna be racing Team X Factor this year.
So you're gonna run? Are you pulling double duty?
I am.
Okay.
We're gonna have the late model out. The X Factor late model is gonna be out. And we picked up an X Factor modified Sunday, and Lauren Cruzy's helped me out with that.
Okay.
You know, they've Lauren Cruzy. He's been my sponsor for a couple years now. Him and Val.
With Nature Quest?
Nature Quest, yeah. And, you know, they come on board and helped out a lot. And, you know, I do a lot of work for them over the winter time. We're going to rebuild his Nova that he crashed.
You're going to fix that?
Absolutely.
Well, that's a big chore because he got hit hard.
Boy.
Yeah. Well, you wait and see. It's going to be a nice car when we're all done. So.
It was a nice car last year. He had five consecutive fast times in that car last year.
Oh, yeah. That's I think that car is going to be just as good or better than it was before.
Wow.
So.
That's awesome. Now, Lauren, what a character, man.
Oh, Lauren's a great guy. Him and Val, they're both great people.
They are fun people.
You know?
Always got a, you know, for the most part, has a smile on his face. Very passionate about what he does at the track. But, you know, I had an interesting conversation with Lauren last year, and he says, you know what? He goes, sometimes I take this racing thing too serious. And I looked at him. I said, "Now you're starting to sound like every other racer here at this track, Lauren." And he says,
He's admitting it.
But I take it too serious, and I get so into it, and sometimes I let it get the best of me, and I get mad. And he goes, "This year, he goes, I'm just out for fun, man." He goes, "I'm just out for fun. If it's not fun, I'm not going to do it." And last year was, I think, the best I've ever seen Lauren race.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They had a good time, you know, and he kind of got into a little bit of a mod kick. You know, he came over and bought my Harris I had. I bought this Harris, and
well, we saw him down in Vegas.
We saw him in Vegas, absolutely.
You know? Yep. Well, he bought this car, and he made him a good deal on the car, and like I said, you know, and he goes, "Well, how about Vegas? Can you have it ready for Vegas?" I said, "Well, I guess that's like a week and a half away." You know, and I was getting ready to tear the car apart, but you know, we got it back together and got everything on, got a new body sides on it, got it lettered up for him, and you know, they went down and had a blast.
They did. They had a great time.
They didn't win a race. They didn't finish last. But, you know,
they had a blast.
They had a blast. I mean, it was one of their first times they've been out of town, and they said that was such a great experience. They want to do it again. And Lauren's come on board this year, and we're going to be doing some good things. We're going to be doing some traveling. We're going to take the Harris car and make it a B mod, a sport mod.
All right.
And we're going to concentrate on my cars and A mod.
Okay.
And we're going to do some traveling and maybe shoot for a couple championships.
Nice. Now, are we going to see you down south in October?
He said we're going to do some traveling.
Okay, well, I'm assuming we're going to see you down there.
He said, you know, we haven't outlined a lot yet. We just kind of got this thing rolling kind of today.
Yeah.
We talked about it here a few weeks ago and really didn't go anywhere with it, but we're both busy guys. You know, I have a full-time job, and the shop is just barraged with cars right now. I don't understand what everybody's doing this year. You know, usually I got a couple months to get my stuff done, but I have not even touched my cars yet, so... But we talked about a bunch of stuff, and he told me to be ready to do some traveling. We want to go to Vegas. As far as Bakersfield, I don't know what we're going to do there. We might head down that way. You know, it'd be awesome if Billy Workman come out and
that would be
I could go hang out with my little buddy again. You know,
that's right.
It would be a lot of fun. And I think you know, Lauren and Val, they're some of the best people. You know, some of the people. Don't see him like I do, or some other people. But you know,
here's the thing with Lauren.
We talked to him down in Vegas, and he told us a story about getting this car together to get ready to get down there, how this had to be done. And then, wait a minute, one more thing, and you went above and beyond and busted your butt to get that car ready.
Right.
That's the way the story goes. So he spoke very highly of you, and so I see you guys having a very mutual, good relationship.
They have treated
there.
me extremely well.
They're good people.
Well, and Lauren,
very good people.
You look at Lauren, and for a lot of people that don't know him, Lauren's one of those guys that can look pretty intimidating. You know, he's not a little guy. Mm-hmm. He's kind of got that rough around the edges look. You get to talking with Lauren, and Lauren is just, he's got this personality that is just fun.
Good
and
guy.
when you get to know him, he's nothing more than a big teddy. I mean, truly, just a big teddy bear. And he's one of those guys that, you know, hey, if he can help you, he'll be one of the first guys to do it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
He might be a little ticked about you saying that over the air, but
you know,
teddy bear part. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'll tell you what, though. The first time I met Lauren was out at the Street Stock meeting. And I was sitting there with Corey, and I'm sitting there going, and this guy's just chatting Corey's ear off. I turn to Corey, I go, "Who the hell is this guy?" And he says, "That's Lauren Cruzy, dude." Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, he's a big dude.
He is a big dude.
Then he sits there and he goes, "Hey, you." I'm like, "Yeah, have some pizza."
He did.
I'm like,
he's like,
okay.
Him and Val are sitting there in the corner by themselves, you know, and he's got a beer in front of him. He goes, eat some of this pizza. We're like, dude, I just ate 3 pieces from Chris Sign, and those guys says, I can't eat anymore. But he, he's also one of those guys that you probably don't want to cross.
No, he's I think he'd be fair with you.
Oh, he'll be fair with you. Yeah, he'll be fair with you.
Yes, he will.
I don't know exactly what fair is what part that's going to be. But no, they're great people. They've treated me real good, and I've got a lot of respect for what they're doing and what they're doing in life. And